Let me ask you this question. Have you just started congregating, or have you been congregating for a while? You just start. So right now, you're trying to see where you fit in at. Right. That's what you're doing. So you're trying to see where you fit in at. So you're pretty new to this thing. Okay, so as he was saying, you got to get amongst people who you know to keep the commandments, right? So right now, what you're doing is you're in the process of proving the people, right? But in order to truly prove them, you got to know what the law, statutes, and commandments are. Right. To prove the people. Give me what you got.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 1 and verse 10. Read. Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that ye all speak the same thing.
So right here, he's saying all speak the same thing. So what are we talking about? It's something you got to understand. Not all camps speak the same thing.
Right.
Right? All of them, a lot of camps interpret the scriptures kind of the wrong way, differently. Right. So you got to be amongst people who believe how you believe, who do what the Bible say according to what the Bible says, not with what they want it to say, right? Not with what you want to translate it to fit your fancy, but exactly what the scripture tells us to do. Read on.
And that there be no divisions among you, but that ye be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment.
So no divisions, and that includes the small things, right? No divisions, meaning you can't be among people who think it's okay to go ahead and shave their beard, you know what I'm saying, to get that little strip line to go all the way down there, knowing that the scripture says what? Not to mar the corners of your beard.
Right.
Right? So you can't be, two people who read the scriptures differently can't be among each other. So you got to be among people who know this word and you believe the word the way it's written. What's your name, brother? Quran? Oh, you came back. You brought the son with you. Okay, you got any questions?
I'm listening.
You just listening right now? Hey, all praise to the Most High. You're doing a good thing right there. So, back to my question with you. You already aware that Christ is a black man according to the Bible? I got to ask you these questions according to the Bible, right? We got to make sure we believe what the scriptures say and not what we want it to say. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's pretty common right here. Give me Colossians 2 and 8, because I'm going to tell you the reason why we're struggling the way we're struggling in our neighborhoods now. The issue is that we believe what everybody else told us as opposed to what we read about ourselves, right? We was told that we Gentiles in this book belong to another people, and the Christian church teaches us that we just want to get a piece of the pie. That's what they teach. Read.
Colossians chapter 2, verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
So what it's going into, when we look at the word spoil, what does that mean? That's taking something that was perfectly fine and then it becomes right. Right? And spoiling actually happens over time. So what does that mean? Sitting there and constantly listening to things that aren't the truth, you know what I'm saying, stuff that's contrary to the truth, contrary to the fact that you're an Israelite, but telling you that you are African American or something else, is spoiling you. It's destroying you. It's spoiling your mind. And what happens when spoiled food sits next to other spoiled food? It spoils, and it starts to spoil faster, and it begins to spread, right? So it says not to be spoiled by man's vain deceit and philosophy. So some of their philosophies, when we think of some of their philosophies, Christianity, right? That we the Gentiles and everybody going to the kingdom and everybody is an Israelite, a spiritualist. That's philosophy, right? And that was taught by who? No, that was taught by your enemy. That was taught by the white man. That's taught by the people that caught you. Right, that was taught by Esau. That's where that came from. Read.
After the tradition of men.
After tradition of men. So some of their traditions goes into what? Some of their holidays.
Bring it up.
Right? Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthdays, one that's going to come up now. 4th of July. That ain't got nothing to do with the black man. You know why? Because he was still a slave when all of that happened. In fact, it ensured our slavery. So what we look like celebrating that coming up?
Marvin.
How you doing, brother?
How you doing, brother?
What's your name?
Marvin, he wants to know where we at exactly from in Africa.
Come on up, Marvin. You say you want to know where exactly we're from in Africa? Well, we're actually from Jerusalem, and that's East Africa.
Right.
So what happened was in 70 A.D., when Jerusalem was ransacked by Titus Vespasian, I'm pronouncing his name, but when he was attacked, what we did was we fled south into Africa. Now, the reason why we fled south into Africa is because guess what? We all kind of look alike, but we not the same people. When you look at Japanese, Chinese, Vietnamese, Korean, call one of them out their nationality. Call a Vietnamese or Chinese, or call a Chinese or Filipino. They're going to have a fit. You know why? Because just because they look alike don't mean they the same people. Right. So what they try to do with us is they try to lump us all together. You got woolly hair, you know what I'm saying? You're dark skin, all of y'all the same people. That's not true. So we come from Jerusalem. Read.
Galatians chapter 4, verse 26. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all.
So this let you know right here that Jerusalem is the motherland. That's where we came from. But because we ain't keep these commandments, because we broke these laws, statutes, and commandments, we went into constant captivities because we just kept breaking the commandments. And what happened is every captivity kept moving us further and further away from the motherland, to the point where now we on the other side of the world.
Right.
Over here as captives, over here as slaves. Read what you got.
This is the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, page 213. Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes.
So we know it's a difference between dark races and Negroes. What did they used to call us back in the 50s, 60s? Heck, even now. They call you what? They even let you know that it's a difference between the two people.
Right.
Because in the beginning, all people was dark. But that don't mean they was all the same. You understand what I'm saying? So they know who you are, and they know that there's a difference between you and the Africans that they want to lump you with and label you with.
That's right.
They know that it's a difference between us and, you know, another group of people running around with loincloths, bones in their nose, and the other stuff they try to show on TV to try to make you think that you still what? Some sort of primal, evolved from ape kind of person. Basically trying to keep you low, trying to keep you from realizing that you're the cream of the crop, that you come from a special people, that you come from the greatest people that was ever created, the people who this whole earth was even made for. And that's their purpose. Oh, keep them dumb, keep them stupid, don't even let them know. Let's give them a new name, or call them colored. We're going to call them colored now. We're going to call you everything but what you really are. In fact, then we're going to take your nationality, move into your land, so that way you have no clue that you are who you are. Read.
Isaiah chapter 1, verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib.
So right here, what it's letting us know is, guess what? An ox and an ass are two dumb animals. But if they ever got lost, they know their way back.
Right.
They know who they belong to.
Right.
They know where they belong. Right? Read.
But Israel doth not know.
Read.
My people doth not consider.
So we have no clue who we are. We don't even consider that we the Israelites according to the Bible. Right? You know why we don't even so much as consider it? Because from the moment we born all the way up, all we hear is that we're a bunch of nobodies. The greatest we can be is a good servant. We're not told that we're the Israelites according to the Bible. And then the perspective of this book is being taught as if you're the servant in the book and not the actual rulers of the book. They don't teach this book that it's your history. They teach it like it's a little Harry Potter book with a bunch of mysticism. This right here is your history book. Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
So this right here let you know that not everybody on the earth is special. But it let you know that you are special people to God. That you special upon this earth. Right? And the reason why we went through what we went through is because we broke the commandments. Deuteronomy 28 and 15. So I'm going to show you what we did, the reason why we ended up the way we ended up. The reason why we get a couple of handouts and we think we're doing something. Right now realizing that we still living on the bottom. Right? Our neighborhood still got gun violence. We doing all it. We still marching in 2021. We doing all of this voting, talking about some Biden do this and that and the third. And the first thing they passed is a law for Asians. They spent 1 year going through hell, and what? They already get $50 million of reparations. And they just passed a law that the black woman can wear her natural hair on the job. And then on top of that, You still don't get no justice when crime is done or happened to you. Then they walk around here, people believing that they finna get reparations. You know, the true reparations that we're going to get this planet back. That's the true reparations.
Right. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments.
So right here, Moses is talking to us. He's talking to our forefathers. And what Moses is saying to our forefathers, that our forefathers made an agreement to become the people of God. So from Deuteronomy 15, starting at verse 1, 28, starting at verse 1, he talked about the blessings if you do what I ask you to do and you become my people. But just like a parent would do, they're going to give you that but, right? But if you don't, read.
And his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So he letting us know that all the curses, which means all the stuff that we're going through, going to come upon us and overtake, meaning it's going to be overwhelming. It's going to be so bad that you're going to march, you're going to scream, you're going to see photos of little kids holding their baby sisters with their heads cut off. You're going to build your own community and they're going to fly planes over and drop bombs on it and no justice be given to you. Read.
Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field.
So before I answer that, I'm going to ask you, think on a little bit. How are we cursed in the city and cursed in the field? Basically, what are we going through in the city and what have we went through in the fields? Slavery, but what? Be a little bit more specific. Picking cotton. There you go. What else you got? Unfair justice. Now, how are we cursed in the city? What are some of the things you see happening to us in cities? Think about what's going on now. Why is everybody walking around marching and talking about some Black Lives Matter? Why is that even happening?
Teacher.
No, it's not a rumor. Our people clearly getting shot down in the street and no justice.
Right.
Like just straight up murder. That's why. That's being cursed in the city.
Right.
That's being cursed right there. Right? On top of that, you living in the worst neighborhoods, the worst water, the worst utilities. Right? Your kids can't go outside and play. Our kids, you look at what's happening in the news now, the Most High is judging us so heavy that our kids is getting it.
Yes.
Kids just sitting in a car in a McDonald's drive-thru and getting it. You understand what I'm saying? That's cursed in the city. What other nation you know fit that curse alone?
Right.
Just us, right? Just the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Read.
Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store.
So curse being your basket in your store, that's going into your businesses, man. That's going into that Black Wall Street, right? You know what I'm saying? Now it's all of a sudden getting popular, all praises for some of these shows, bringing some knowledge to it. But the point being is, guess what? That's curse being your basket. You can have a shop, you can have a store, but guess what? You don't know none of the tax laws. IRS is coming after you. You know what I'm saying? They know all these loopholes not to pay a dime. What is it? Some of the most biggest billionaires barely paid 1% in taxes last year alone.
Right.
But you and your business, guess what? They taking like 40 or 50 easy. And then coming back and saying, oh, laws just changed in the city, so now you got to do this and that and the third upgrades to your business. As if you don't, we're closing it down.
Right.
That's cursed be your basket in your store.
Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep.
So this is going into, guess what, not just our animals, but the fruit of thy body. That's going into our kids.
Right.
Right? What's been happening on the news lately? Kids all over the place are getting caught with stray bullets.
Right.
Kids. That's how bad it's getting right now. That's how much the Most High is trying to get your attention and wake you up and say, hey, come back to your commandments. Because if you don't, it's going to continue to get worse and worse and worse.
Right.
It's not going to get better, right? Read.
Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out.
So this goes for everybody who thinks that you're going to go to a different country in the world, like you're going to escape these curses. Guess what? As soon as you get there, the same things is waiting for you, right? A lot of them come from Ghana, the west coast of Africa. They want to come here to America thinking that they're going to get a better life, right? Thinking that they can escape the hell that Moab, the Chinese, is giving them, and they think they're going to come over here and going to all of a sudden get an opportunity. Guess what? They find the same thing over here. It's just a whole other enemy doing the exact same thing to them, right? Can't find no ease. Read what you got.
Hebrews chapter 5, verse 12. For when for the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again.
So the thing is now we at the point that guess what? We think we know what we know, but now it's time for us to be taught the truth of the Bible. Right? We grew up in Christianity, going to Christian churches, all these different kind of denominations, thinking that they teaching us what we need to do what? To get ease in this life, right? Thinking that they teaching us what we need to get salvation, to get the kingdom. But the whole time, what we read in Colossians 2 and 8, nothing but a bunch of philosophies, keeping you blind from who you are, keeping you blind from waking you up. Because once you wake up, we one step closer to these other prophecies coming to pass and us getting our leg. Read.
Which be the first principles of the oracles of God.
So the first principles of the oracles of God is, guess what? You're an Israelite and according to the Bible, and you got commandments you got to keep.
Yes, Lord.
That's what the first oracles is. That's the chief thing you're supposed to be learning. Read.
And are become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat.
Basically saying that, guess what? All of that difficult stuff, trying to figure out the deep mysteries of the Bible, just keep it simple. First, learn these commandments.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.